Hi, everybody. I'm Madison. I'm the program manager of our Quick Suite Learning series, and I'm going to be hosting a special session, which is a follow-up of our last week's session of getting started with Agentic AI. So the agenda today will be an introduction of what Amazon Quick Suite is. So if you haven't attended our previous sessions, I'll do a general overview, and I'll also briefly review the two features that we covered last week. So I'll review spaces and chat agents, and then it'll help go into nicely the new features that we're talking about this week. So then I'll talk about the ones that we're going to cover this week, which is going to be connections with external applications. And then we'll also talk about our use case background before jumping into the demo. Again, this demo will follow the same use case we used last week. So we have the same through line. It'll follow a fictitious snack company. I'll go through the demo to showcase the different areas of what we're showcasing. I'll give some learning resources that you can use after today's session if you want to learn more. And then I'll leave a few minutes at the end for some open Q&A. So again, if you have any questions, please ask in the chat. I will not be able to see the chat while I use the demo, but I'll come back to them at the end and we'll have an open discussion about questions and answers. Okay. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and begin our session. So I'm going to introduce a little bit about what Amazon Quick Suite is, if you don't already know. This is our Agentic AI all-in-one with our BI resolution that was previously Amazon Quick Site, but now we brought in a bunch of Agentic AI capabilities that you can use within your company for greater use of Agentic teammates. And what do I mean by that? So if you think about other applications that you have, they might have agentic AI features that you use across the applications, all within your data. But what we've done with Amazon Quick Suite is unify them all within one platform so you can get answers from your unstructured and structured data at the time that you need it. It takes in your data, which is all provided and accessed through configurations with the people on your teams through Amazon Quick Suite. And with that, you can be able to get the insights that you need from your QuickSight dashboards, bring them in with your unstructured data insights, and be able to take actions with third-party applications. And we'll be focusing on that today in our demo. So as you can see here, the 3 points I kind of touched on, you're able to get the right answers quickly, all by using natural language and strictly on your data. So we don't use your data in other applications and we don't use it across. They keep it all inside Amazon Quick Suite. Okay. And so this is, again, a unifying tool that will unite your agentic teammates to help you do work more quickly and be able to unify all your different data types inside one platform. So I want to go ahead and just quickly review the two that we've covered last week. And these are the ones that are going to create a really strong foundation of how you can set up your Amazon Quick Suite account to be able to use all the agentic AI capabilities to the highest degree possible. So the two that we covered last week, the first one was spaces. So if you want to think about a business, you have individual teams and departments that will use different types of data and knowledge bases that power all the day-to-day decision making that each individual team has. What a space does, it's taking a specific team's data and using the context of their unstructured and structured data to provide additional specific context to that team's agentic use cases. So, for example, last week we followed the sales and business development team. That team had specific data within their PowerPoints, their first call decks, their general brand messaging that they need for their partner meetings, any important spiff or quotas that they need to hit, and they power that into a space where they can use that throughout their experience inside Amazon Quick Suite. And so with that, I want to go ahead and talk about custom chat agents, which again is going to be a specified agent that you can build for either yourself or your team or a different part of your organization to collaborate and have a specific use case that you can use a chat agent. So if you want to think about this in collaboration with your space, you'll use your space knowledge to power your custom chat agent, which will give specific data and insights powered to your specific use case. So what we did last week for this snack company is I was a salesperson getting ready for partner meetings. So I wanted to create a custom chat agent that would help me curate the perfect partner agenda based on my QuickSight dashboard and my space. So I use my space knowledge of what I should say in my meetings, what knowledge bases I had from my first call decks, and what I had for my quotas to power everything I want for my meetings inside my chat agent. And what I did in that last demo, if you haven't already seen it, I recommend checking that out on YouTube or our community, was I asked questions about, based on our QuickSight data in Japan, what should I do to power my next partner meeting if I want to meet with a Japanese grocery store? And so with my space and my QuickSight data, it was able to give me an answer through the chat. And then I had a conversation with it to set up a meeting in the way that I wanted to. So hopefully that was a very quick overview, but hopefully that covered enough information that will lead us into today's information with the following capabilities. So the first one that I want to touch on is going to be actions, which I kind of mentioned a bit earlier. But what you can do with actions is take your third-party application software and be able to connect it to your Quick Suite account to be able to take actions in all one unified place. So Quick Suite integrates with a ton of applications, some of which are seen here. I'll also review more when we go through the demo, but these allow you to take actions within those applications by making calls into those, or you can bring the knowledge from those applications in within your Quick Suite environment to be able to create tasks and get insights on the fly while you use your chat agents within Quick Suite. And again, if you have any questions, please ask in chat. All right, and then the next one that follows that is Quick Suite extensions. So as I mentioned, you can bring your information from other applications into Quick Suite, which will help you to create actions into those without leaving the Quick Suite environment. But what we additionally have is have a Quick Suite extension that goes into other applications as well. So some of these include Microsoft 365. This includes your general browser for Firefox and for Google Chrome. You can also use this within your Slack environment. Those are just a couple examples. But if you are using your browser or your Slack or your Microsoft 365 applications, you will see an Amazon Quick Suite widget, which you'll see earlier, or you'll see that later in the demo as well. And that widget will allow you to bring in your Quick Suite data from your spaces or your chat agents into those applications as well. So it's both unifying your data from your third-party applications, but also your Quick Suite data as well to follow you wherever you go throughout your day-to-day experiences and your workflows. All right. So I know that was a very brief overview. I wanted to keep it short because the demo is going to take quite a bit of time, but I also think that's the most powerful part, is to see it. So we will go into the demo now. Before I share my screen, I'm just going to cover a use case background. Some of this might be familiar if you came to our session last week, but for those of you who are new, this company that we're following is a global retail snacks company called Any Retail Snacks. They provide 5 healthy products. They're really focused on organic ingredients, sustainable packaging, and how to get healthy, nutritious snacks to regional specific flavors. So we followed last week the sales and business development department. So this week we'll be continuing to follow that department inside their Quick Suite account and how they would use the following capabilities. So the team uses Microsoft 365 application. They use Asana and they use Jira for their various workflows. They also collaborate across teams and partners to complete projects. And so this might seem very familiar to your own personal use cases within your companies, but as you can imagine, they're going to need to create data across different teams and be able to send things quickly to make sure that they're having the most from their productivity tools. Okay, and so this is how the team uses Amazon Quick Suite. They will connect integrations to unify their workflows, so we'll see how that's done. They'll use Amazon Quick Suite inside other applications to bring in their Quick Suite data context. So we'll see how we use that within a browser extension inside Microsoft Outlook. And they also set up actions within their quick site dashboards to be able to take actions from third-party applications directly from the visuals that they see in their dashboards. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to pivot here and I'm going to jump into the demo. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing really quickly, but let's go ahead and check the chat here to see if I missed anything. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything in chat right now, but again, if you have any questions during this demo, please feel free to type in chat and I'll be able to look at that at the end and get answers. As you can see here, I have a few visuals that I've pinned to my homepage. So here I have one with our average product ratings by our region and product. This interacts just like my quick site dashboard. I have one that's graphing all of our sales by our products and date. And I have my recents that I've accessed, as well as this nice pie chart. So the first thing that I want to showcase here is how to do integrations. So again, like I mentioned, integrations are going to be the connectors between third-party application tools. So if we see here under connections, we have two options, which are integrations and extensions. I'm first going to cover integrations, so I'll click this. And if I wanted to, I could connect any of the integrations with these following applications to my Amazon Quick Suite account. I'm not going to connect it, but if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to connect my Asana, I would go ahead and press New Integration. I will name this for my team. So this could be something like Sales Asana account or something like that. I optionally have the decision to make a description. I'll specify the connection type. And then here is where I'm going to insert the authentication settings. So this is very important. We get a ton of questions about this. So if you are an admin of your Quick Suite account, you will have the ability to enter in this information here with your third-party application tools. So again, you will need an admin who has the access to the third-party application tools and access to Quick Suite to configure these here. And then the next step, once you create and continue, which I haven't filled those out, is going to share that with your individual team members. So that's again where they'll access permissions to the specific groups that are able to use this action. So for this team, for example, we'll want to only access, we'll only want to have the sales team get access and permissions to this specific integration. And then once we scroll up here, we'll see which actions I have available. So as I mentioned, I have Microsoft 365 enabled here. I have Jira, Asana, and additionally, I have Slack available to me. Okay. And then quickly, I'm going to also cover how you can do the same thing with extensions. It will look very similar, but if I want to create an extension, which I have my browser one here, all I have to do is create an extension, and I can pick which one I have. Again, this is where your admin will have the ability to configure which third-party applications your team is able to access. My team only has access to our browser extension, but any applications that you have access to will show up here. So that includes Microsoft 365, and that includes Slack right now. Okay. So now that we have the setup covered, let's see how we can use our integrations. So the first thing that I'm going to share is maybe a common use case, but let's go back to our homepage. Okay, let's say that I am on my team and I regularly look at my QuickSight dashboard to see the updated analytics. I'm going to go ahead and go into my dashboard and check out what's happening. So this is just an overview of how we're doing in terms of our online sales, where we're performing well, and some of the campaigns that we've ran on marketing, and how that contributed to maybe some of our sales of our snacks. So one thing I'm personally noticing is this graph here. It looks like Real Fuel Bars is definitely our most popular product across regions, and I'm seeing that Veggie Pops, Berry Bites, and Grainfuls all have comparable sales and profit, but Green Crunch here isn't doing very well. So I can see that it hasn't been doing well for a while now. And I want one of my team members to be able to check in on this and understand why. So I'm going to go ahead and click on one of these visuals. So let's go ahead and click on this one. And I'm going to go ahead and take an action. So from here, this will bring up any of the available integrations that we saw before, and it's going to allow me to take action within those applications straight from my Amazon Quick Suite account. So what I'm personally going to do is send a chat message from Microsoft Teams, checking in on one of my teammates and asking them to please help me understand what's happening with this Green Crunch sale, and what we can do to improve. So I'm going to click which chat I want to send this to. We'll just use our test chat here. Say, please check on our dashboard and uncover what's going on with Green Crunch. And I'm going to go ahead and send that message. Let's also note here the time. So it's 10:23 a.m. my local time. I'm going to go ahead and send that message. Let's go to Microsoft Teams. And as we can see here, this message has sent. So that is great. I can go ahead and now return to my dashboard, and we'll see that now my teammate is able to get that message quickly, come to the dashboard, and be able to figure out what's going on. Alternatively, if I wanted to, I could come to chat here and I can ask a question on my dashboard. So if I didn't want to ask a teammate, I've already configured the space which we set up in our previous session. And let's say I want to ask my chat, what's going on with Green Crunch? Why are the sales so much lower than the other products? And let's see what the chat configures. So if you can see here, we already have our dashboard configured into our chat, and we should have knowledge from our space as well to be able to answer this question. And our assistant is thinking this through. All right, and as we can see here, this is giving me a pretty comprehensive answer, so I'll quickly run through this. My chat agent is saying, based on the analysis of our retail snacks dashboard, we are significantly underperforming compared to other products. Here's what's happening. So here's some key issues. It's giving a general overview of our sales performance, showing that recent trends show a 7.72% decline in June, which is what my data goes up to, making it the worst performer that month, which we can see. The comparative analysis is saying that although it has a decent profit margin, which is actually higher than Real Fuel Bars and Veggie Pops, the absolute sales volume is critically low. So that's really interesting. Although that I thought that our snack was probably bad and maybe I want to make a decision to even discontinue it, the profit margin is actually higher than our two top performing snacks. So that's really cool. And then some of the recent trends it's finding is there's declining momentum, seasonal weakness, which peaked in December, and then it's consistently an underperformer, which we saw. But what's interesting here, it's also giving me areas that it thinks I should investigate. So some of these are the market positionings, which maybe we want to explore because as we can see here, the sales from campaigns aren't really translating. The distribution challenges, maybe change our pricing strategy, change the marketing effectiveness. So maybe I'll go to our marketing team now and see what's going on there. And then general product appeal. Okay, so that's very good. I can see that's got this all from my QuickSight dashboard. Now I'm going to add in my specific chat agent that I've set up previously, which is going to be my partner meeting agenda builder. And I'm going to ask it a question relative to Green Crunch to maybe help boost sales through a grocery store partner meeting. So based on the above, help me craft a message to a potential grocery store partner. Let's fix this here. On positioning Green Crunch at their end caps to boost sales. All right. And let's see what that generates. So some of the things that I'm looking for here in the answer is for it to continue pulling the data that we saw above from my quick site dashboard. I also want to see if it touches on anything marketing related because I mentioned end caps, and usually those have a marketing world built into them. I also think it's going to pull from my space data. So I mentioned a bit earlier that we have information from First Call Decks. I have previous partner meetings from our video recordings that we've had with other partners, and I also have our spiff and quota data. So I'm trying to see if maybe it'll come up with an answer relative bringing all those types of data within this context. Okay, and as we can see, it's generated an answer already. So here it's named this meeting, Green Crunch NCAP Partnership Proposal. Sounds pretty good. It's given me a subject line, so it's saying this is a strategic NCAP opportunity for Green Crunch Premium Positioning Partnership. Gives me a nice little email outline saying, Dear so-and-so, I hope this message finds you well. I'm reaching out to discuss an exciting opportunity to maximize revenue potential through strategic product placement of our Green Crunch snack line. It's showing the opportunity here. It's giving, again, the profit margin number that we saw earlier, which is great. And it's saying why this makes sense. So it says the profitability per unit has higher margins than our other top selling for real fuel bars, which is great. It has strong fundamentals, which is cool. NCAP visibly can unlock volume potential. So maybe I want to leave this in, but maybe add in more data later. It's saying that this will be mutually beneficial. This data here I know is from one of our space documents, so that's great. This is coming from one of our research documents that we've had and put into our space. It's also pulling in some of our general information with our branding. And then this area here, our commitment to success, is coming from some of our documented data that's in our space as well. So I have data from my space that has to do with partnership information and how we collaborate with grocery store partners to ensure successful sales. So here we have the data points from that document, which is dedicated promotional materials and point of sale displays, which our team will provide. We give them performance tracking, flexible terms of competitive pricing structure, and we give category management. All right, so that sounds all good. It also gives us the next steps here, and I think this is ready to go ahead and put into an email. So what I'm going to do here is copy this, and now I'm going to go into Microsoft Outlook. Hopefully everyone can see my screen still. You should be seeing my personal Outlook. I'm going to go ahead and see if this is working. And there we go. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and paste my same email into here. So I have the chat. Here we have my personal assistant, which is just the default one. But I'm going to go ahead and still change this to let's use this one. This is another agent that I've set up specifically for my sales and business development space. This is a general snacks helper, and this is just going to give any information about my company. So here what I'm going to do is take the information from this email and make it a little bit more succinct and ask chat to help me put in more data. So first, I'm going to ask it to help me make this email more succinct. So let's see. Please help me shorten this email and add in more specific information regarding our grocery store partnership strategies. Okay, so now what my agent is doing is taking that again and going to look through my email, be able to understand what I want to be shortened, and take bits and pieces to edit the email that I can then use in maybe a new email or be able to edit just off the hand from reading the chat. Okay, so let's see what it generated here. It's giving me a new email. So again, I'm going to go ahead and copy that subject line because it didn't transfer from before. It's showing me, I can see here, more data points, which is awesome. And it's giving me a pretty good review. So I'm going to go ahead and insert this. This is going to go below my existing email, and I'm just going to use this to compare and contrast the two. So I'm going to go ahead and keep on reviewing what's happening in our new generated chat. So we show our proven partnership strategy. This is compared to what NCAP placements make sense. So this is going to show that we think it's going to be more strategic to put it in the chip aisle as healthier alternative alongside veggie pops. Okay, that's not necessarily our NCAP strategy, but that might work. It's going to go in a dedicated healthy snack selection or snack section rather, group all the products together with branded display stands in high traffic areas. Okay, that sounds a little bit better. And maybe even some cross merchandising with things like protein shakes, vitamin supplements, sugar-free beverages. Immediately, I like this better than the other email, only because it's putting in more context that are specific call out items that I want for my partner to take action on. This also is showing me that it's using some previous knowledge that I know that we had in our previous partner meeting recordings, where other partners put protein shakes with our veggie pop items. Again, it's giving me a bit more detailed on what we provide from the data of our space. So $5,000 of local digital advertising. That's pretty cool. Bi-monthly in-store demos with sampling stations and nutritionist support. Again, I know that's coming from one of our previous meeting recordings. Custom fixtures and displayed, giving me specific monetary data. Staff incentives, again, specific data is happening here. Comprehensive training, so we do 2 in-person sessions plus mobile training app. Again, more specific data on how we're going to support them. And then general performance tracking. So it's giving me a very clear next action step, which is saying to let's schedule a 15-minute call this week to discuss specific NCAP opportunities. And it's giving me an end line here with a PS. This is our terms. All right. So I think this is pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to move this to the top. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight all of this if it lets me. And we'll move this up. Okay, so let's do that. And I'm going to move this to the subject line. And I'm going to go ahead and send this email. So if this lets me again, highlight everything. And this might be a bug with my Microsoft. Okay, let's try that. Oops, not letting me. Okay. Well, this is not letting me do that, so we're just going to type it. And this is a good note to say here, I guess. Don't rely on AI to do everything. You should be checking all of the answers that it's providing so that we always want to keep the human in the loop because, as we just saw, there can be weird bugs. So again, this is a process, an iterative process with you to edit as well. I can edit things here, but apparently not delete. But you can edit things here. We want to make sure that you are working with these agentic teammates to be able to refine your information and get the most out of your business. So as you saw here, I was fact checking what it was saying with cost numbers, with same thing with the profit margin. So we saw that in our quick site answers as well. So we want to keep that notion of human in the loop interaction. Okay, so that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and now pivot back to our previous page. And now I'm returning to our Amazon Quick Suite environment. So I'm just going to showcase one more item here. And this is going to be our browser extension. this is going to be our browser extension. I'm showcasing right now our Quick Suite community because we're going to plug that. But let's say I want to use my browser extension to ask questions. I'm going to go ahead and click on that here. And it's recognizing that I'm on the Amazon Quick Suite community, and now I can ask questions with my assistant. So maybe I want a general summary of what's happening on my browser page. I'm going to go to a specific blog, and here, let's do our November's blogs because I wrote this blog. So I'm going to go ahead and summarize this. And I know what's happening in this blog because I wrote it. So we're going to see if the chat agent picks up on what's going on and see if the summary matches. So it's reading this blog, it's thinking this through, and it's telling me that I have virtual sessions available for me to go to, in-person user groups, which I've mentioned, and recurring community events. Basically, this is exactly what I said in my slide, so this is great. I'm seeing that I have all the correct pieces of information with the dates. It's also giving me additional information on this. But now let's say I want to take this information and maybe put something on in my Outlook. So I'm going to go here and let's say, can you draft an email to my team recommending they attend the user group session this Thursday. All right, and let's see how this handles that request. So if you notice, I put this Thursday. I want to see if it recognizes the date for November 13th and see if it recognizes Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, awesome. So it did. I can see there's an Amazon Quick Suite user group meeting in Phoenix, Arizona on November 13th. Oh, which it says Wednesday, not Thursday. But that is wrong. That should be Thursday, so that's a bit weird. However, I want to make sure I have the right event details. Could you clarify, are you referring to the Phoenix meetup? Yes. What's your team location? What specific session would you like them to attend? Once I have those, I can craft a compelling email. So I'm gonna say, yes, the Phoenix date. Craft a one sentence email with a link to this blog. All right, and let's see how chat handles this. And then once we complete this, I'm going to return back to our slide deck and answer some questions. All right. Okay, this looks pretty good. So the subject line here is join the Amazon QuickSuite user group meetup in Phoenix, November 13th. Very succinct email, one sentence, just like I asked. I recommend attending this to learn about agentic AI capabilities and network with other QuickSuite users. More details with the link here. And best regards. So this is great. I never had to leave the community and I could bring in my Quick Suite chat agents to help me with that. So I think that's going to be pretty helpful. From here, I can also call an action to put this into an Outlook email and send that. But what I'm going to do now is close our demo. So here are some learning resources. I know that demo might have seemed like it was very fast, but if you want more in-depth personal learning time, which is also self-service, I highly recommend checking these out. So as I showed, we have our Quick Suite community. I put the link in chat earlier. This is seriously the one-stop shop to learn everything there is about Amazon Quick Suite. We have our Getting Started YouTube playlist. So let me go ahead and put that link in the chat as well. This is going to include very short videos that I've created of each of these features. And the videos are going to cover all the capabilities. So this varies the ones that we've covered last week, the ones we've covered this week, and ones we're going to cover in the future. It follows the same use case with this snack company, so it might look familiar now that you've attended this session. We also have our Quick Suite workshop. This is for anyone who's getting started and wants some hands-on learning. That's going in the chat as well. And then lastly, if you want to read our technical documentation, I'm going to go ahead and add that into the chat too.